All right, so there were a lot of videos in the last module. So in this one, this is the only one. It's a pretty brief video, but we just want to talk about the obstacles that stand in the way to really going deeper in our impact on the city. How do we do these things? What are the things that stand in our way? And these are kind of obvious. So again, this video won't be that long. But these are things we want you to be aware of, we want you to know, and it really, just understanding these things basically is meant to kind of highlight the importance of your role as a community leader, and your role of really creating that culture of encouragement and accountability. Because if we're going to do evangelism, if we're going to do missional community, if we are going to be able to actually be involved in mercy ministry, I think it's going to take you as a leader just seeking to create a culture which people feel encouraged but also held accountable to be doing those things. Because the first thing we want to point out, the first obstacle, is that it's hard. It just is difficult. It's difficult to do these different things. It takes planning and it takes intentionality. So that stands in the way, which means that we have to be organized. And maybe we need to point people in the group to be on top of these things. So that everything that you're trying to do as a leader, maybe you just need someone else who's focused just on these areas, and you can show all these videos to in this entire section. So it's hard. That's just an obstacle as we strive to actually go deeper in our impact on the city. The second thing is just consistency. Obviously, this relates to it being hard, but the reality is that actually at times, so with missional communities, for example, it's possible to throw on one really good missional community, but do we follow up with people? And what's the next one like? Does it go as well? Is it planned as well? And so it just takes consistency. And so just understanding that, to say, like, you know what, as a leader, just be aware of that. It's not just one shot in the dark, oh, I did it and now I'm done. Say, like, okay, that was one thing, let's keep on moving. And that means it actually takes a lot from you as a leader to continually bring these things up, to help people understand. If this is going to be a culture, not just at times you encourage, but actually a culture of encouragement and accountability, it's going to take actually consistency. Bring these kind of things up. Watching these videos again and again, reminding yourself, these are the kind of things that we need to be doing as a community group, and really emphasizing with your community group leader that mission statement that we are here to see the neighborhoods of Chicago transformed by the power of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And if that's true, then we're going to have to be actually involved in evangelism, missional communities, and mercy ministry. We have to be really striving to see, to go deeper in our impact in the city. 3, you can be doing all these things and you can feel like you're not making any progress. That's really hard. About a year ago, we were trying to do some things in Bridgeport. Specifically, I had appointed one person in our group to be doing a lot of work, and he did a ton of work. We're trying to get involved in a school. Was he making connections? He was having meetings with the school, and all of a sudden, the school was cut communication completely off with them. Now, he had done tons of work, but at the end, basically what it felt like is if we had made absolutely no progress whatsoever because we weren't able to engage in that school. And that can be really disheartening. Or you actually can be doing certain things. You can be trying to evangelize. You can be doing great events with missional communities, and still no one's becoming a Christian. It doesn't seem like you're making any kind of impact on the city, and that can really be really disheartening. But the reality is, as hard as this is to hear, our job as evangelizing people, our job in doing mercy ministry and stuff like that, is not actually to bring change. It's not actually to convert people. Evangelism is not converting people. Ultimately, we need to realize that I can't change someone's heart. I can do my best to love them and to care for them, but ultimately that is God. That's God working it. So we do these things because we want to be obedient to God. We want to love these people, but we can't really have the results up to them. And that's why our identity even needs to be rooted in Christ. We need to be going deeper with Christ so that we can understand that, when we're not making any progress with making impact on the city, well, ultimately we understand that in Christ, that's really where identity lies. And so understanding those kind of things, and when you're not making any progress, it doesn't mean you should stop. Keep on going. Keep on being consistent with those kind of things. And then the fourth thing is that just people are scared. I know that people are scared. I know because it is scary for me to do evangelism. I get scared to share the gospel with other people. I can get scared sometimes on Sundays before I'm going up, and I'm going to have a bit of an intense message because the text is talking about something. Be like, do I really want to talk about this right now? But that's why we need these communities. It's why you as a leader need to be loving people and actually trying to create this kind of culture, because we need people to be encouraging. So we need the accountability. And I want to finish here by actually saying that this is exactly what the apostles needed as well. Okay, so a lot of times we can think about the apostles as being these people who were so bold, so willing to do anything, so willing to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with anyone. But if you look at Acts 4, okay, what actually happens in Acts 4 is they gathered together. It's after Peter was released, and they gathered together, and they pray for boldness. They look at everything around them. They look at the opposition that they are facing, and they ask God for boldness. Why? Because the apostles know that that's where it was rooted. It was rooted in God. They needed the strength of God to be able to share the gospel. It's the same with us. We need the strength of God. We need a community around us, but we need God to actually infuse us with the ability to do that. So let's ask God for that. Let's be praying for those kind of things. Ask God to actually give you the ability, the desire, and your group the ability, the desire to do these kind of things and create a culture where people are being encouraged and held accountable and actually making an impact on the city. Our vision is to see the neighborhoods of Chicago transformed by the power of the gospel of Jesus Christ. That takes going deeper with Christ, deeper in our care for one another, but deeper also in our impact on the city. And that's the one I think that for us as Holy Trinity, that can be the hardest one for us to do. But let's really be striving for that. Let's really be pushing for that kind of thing. And using community group leaders can make a massive impact in really creating that culture of encouragement and accountability at your groups. I pray that we are able to do this, that we would have boldness, and that we would lead in that kind of way.